Greeting, Internet friends. Welcome to another exciting episode of Dabbling with Dan. In today's episode, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to rebuild a fuel pump for this Can-Am Outlander. My brother-in-law got it from his father, and it's been sitting for a while, and we tried to start it, and we're not getting any fuel to the fuel injectors. So I'll show you in another video how to remove the fuel pump, but with the magic of the internet here, I already pulled it out. So let's go ahead and take this into the garage, and I'm going to show you how to rebuild this thing. Now, let's get through this door into the garage. That will be our work table there. And I removed this a few days ago, so what I would normally have here is a bunch of gasoline on this unit. Of course, the gasoline's evaporated off of it, but if you're just pulling it out, you probably want a nice plastic container, clean and free of debris. Although this one looks a little bit dirty, it doesn't have any debris in it. And I'm going to be wearing impervious gloves because of the gasoline that still might be inside this unit. So, let me go ahead and put my camera on a tripod. And because my battery's about dead, I'll go ahead and plug it in so I get some power. Okay, so now, the first thing I'm going to do, just because it's, like I said, free of gas, I'm going to just lay it down here. I'm going to mark, there's actually 4 pieces of plastic. This black piece, this white piece here, this bottom piece, and then of course this plastic strainer, the fuel strainer. And I want to be able to reassemble this. I want to put it in the right position. So I'm going to take a marker and I'm going to mark a couple of these pieces so that I know how to put this back on. Okay, so mark there, mark there, mark there, and a mark there. Now, step 1, I'm going to remove this strainer, and they're just on there with an O-ring, so they're pretty easy to pop off, as you can see. Now, this strainer is in pretty good condition, but I will tell you, the ATV had sat for approximately 3 years, and it wasn't really run, so that gas was real stagnant, and this has a little bit of a varnish smell. If the strainer was in worse shape, I probably would repurchase this, but I think this is in good shape. We'll reuse it. Okay, so with a regular flathead screwdriver, I'm going to go ahead and remove the bottom plastic piece. It's got like 3 clips. After I pop that off, it comes right off. Now, I disassembled this piece a little bit earlier. There is a power plug that you have to remove this secondary piece, but I'm going to show you this fuel filter just will pull right out, and I'll show you this. It's got a positive side and a negative side, and the fuel gets pumped up through the pump and then exits up this snout and into the rest of the fuel pump and eventually out to the fuel injectors. So once this is out, I'm just going to set this off to the side. And now I'm going to go ahead and carefully remove this second piece of plastic. And like I told you, I disassembled it earlier. And you want to be real careful because you don't want to break this. This whole unit, brand new, runs about $340. And the reason I'm rebuilding this is because I really determined that it was just the pump that was bad, not this whole unit. And this only cost me $80. So you gotta maneuver this just right. Get one off and then the other one pops back on. Of course, I don't want to damage that. That's your fuel gauge. Let you know what the level of fuel is in your gas tank. Okay, well, I'm having a little bit of trouble here. So I'm going to get me another screwdriver. Hold on one second. Okay, let's see. Get back on this side. There we go. All right, so this larger piece will just slide down off of these metal guide posts and there. Now again, this was the plug that plugs into the top of the fuel pump, and then of course the fuel pump fits in there, and we were going to go ahead and reinstall a new one. But so how do you know whether or not, how did I know that this was bad? So what I've done here is I have a little test I'm going to do, and I'll share with you how I did it. Let me readjust the camera. The ATV also had a bad battery, so we went ahead and accessed a new one. And what I have here is a voltmeter, and I'm going to put it on DC, and I'm going to adjust the range just to read complete volt. All right. So what I had done here is I rigged up a couple of wires here to this battery so I can plug it into the top of this to see if I can get this motor to run. And the white wire is my negative and my positive is black. And this is a 12 volt battery and this is a 12 volt fuel pump. So on this top it probably is impossible to see, but I have a negative on this side, so I'm going to apply this negative terminal and then I'm going to apply the positive. But the first thing I want to do is I want to remove the positive from the battery while I'm hooking this up. Alright, so right here it's hooked up, and as I apply power, if this motor worked, we should hear it spinning. Alright, power is applied and nothing. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the power. There's no voltage shown here. Alright, I'll set this off to the side. Of course, I went down to the auto parts store and we cross-referenced this pump and we came up with this one. And it's got a couple plastic. I'm going to remove the top cap and the bottom cap. And then I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I adjust the white wire to the negative terminal. And of course my battery's disconnected, and I'm going to apply the black wire to the positive terminal. And when I apply power to this, this should spin, which lets me know that this pump is good. That's exactly what we wanted to hear. So I will now know that this pump will work. And we're going to go ahead now reinstall it to the other part. I'm going to go ahead and move the camera so I can get that in view a little bit better. Bad one, junk. We'll set that on the ground. Good one. Now, on the old fuel pump, before we throw that one away, there is a couple pieces that we're going to remove and put on. So we got the stem here. We got 1, 2 pieces of plastic. So I'm going to reinsert one and then apply that. Okay. Now, I'm going to carefully bring this unit over because I got some wires that are attached to this fuel level gauge. And I'm going to reconnect the power. And as I apply this clip, it can only go in one way. So in this scenario here, the positive is on the left, the negative is on the right. And I'm going to wait till I hear a click. All right, so that wire's in. The next step, I'm going to reapply the fuel pump into this black part. I'm going to make sure it gets pushed up all the way. There we go. Now, here's the tricky part. How do you get this onto that without pulling these wires all out? So how did I do that yesterday? Okay, I think what I had done is these two wires and these two wires are connected to a plug up here at the top. And I need to disconnect this plug from the top of the fuel housing. And that's pretty easy. I just disconnect by pulling the safety tab out. And pulling that wire out. And that gives me some ability to kind of pull this thing down. How did I think what I'd done is I need to pull this rubber part out. Well, once it's in there, it's kind of hard to get out. Okay, I'm going to reapply that. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to insert the fuel pump into this housing. Is that possible? No, you can't. It's got tabs in there. So let's see. Think about this, Dan. All right, I'm going to disconnect this power. I'm going to reconnect this white plastic, okay? I'm not going to put it all the way up. And then I'm going to reinsert my my fuel pump here. And reapply the power very carefully. You heard the click. And as I move this unit up, I'll try to point these out. It's got these little plastic tabs that have to fit into these squares, and there's 3 of them. I will make sure my wires aren't going to be kinked, and that looks all good. And I'll push it up until I hear that clicking sound. So this white piece of plastic is now connected to the black. My fuel pump is all the way in, and the wires are not in the way. The next thing I'm going to do is reconnect this power cord, because it would be terrible to go ahead and put this all back in with forgetting to do that, because this thing won't run. And I just have to line up the holes, push this unit up to this little piece of metal clips in, and there it clipped in. Okay. Now from this point, I'm going to go ahead and reconnect this bottom piece, which then connects like that, and you can hear it clicking in. And now I'm going to go ahead and reconnect this strainer, and that right there is a rebuilt fuel pump for that Can-Am ATV. This moves in the right position. Fuel can then go up. This pump obviously is working, and I'll do another video to show you guys how to install it, and maybe I'll do it like how to uninstall it and then reinstall it. But this unit is ready to go, and we're going to give it a shot a little bit later on. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks a lot for watching. Y'all have a good day. Take care. Bye.